what's up everybody, it's Amaya. So today's video is going to be the third video in my makeup collection and storage in depth series. So today I'm going to be showing you guys my bronzers. I'm really excited. I think I have the least amount of bronzers out of all of my things. I think there's the least amount of bronzers. Maybe highlighters? I'm not too sure. So same as before, this video is going to be exactly the same as my last two went. I'm going to be showing you the storage that they're in, as well as telling you what I like about them, what I don't like about them, and swatches and all that sorts of good stuff, going into each product individually and in depth. So yeah, I'll just let you guys get on with the video. I'll stop rambling and I'll see you at the end. Bye. Okay, so it's time to dive into the final bin in the drawer. And yes, I did film this on the same day I did my highlighter. Don't judge, I'm wearing the same shirt. Don't judge. Anyways, so these are all of my bronzers. Again, like I said in my past two videos, I keep them in a little container just like this. And yeah, let's get right into it. So the first one I have right here is the Physicians Formula Bronze Booster in the shade Light to Medium. This is what it looks like. Ooh. Right. I've heard this hyped up a lot, and I am a person who loves like neutral, almost reddish toned bronzers, so I wasn't sure if I was going to like this because it is very warm, but I actually do. If I'm going for a more warm, bronzy look, or I have a little bit of a contour that's a little too grayish tone, I will totally use this to warm it up because it is stunning. It has some like shimmers in it, like little gold glitters, but they don't show up on the face. They just show up as a little bit of a sheen. I definitely think it's a gorgeous bronzer. I mean, I don't think it's my all-time favorite. Like a lot of people say, it's like, oh my god, this is my most favorite bronzer ever. It's okay, but I have another bronzer that I like better. That bronzer is also from Physicians Formula, and it is the Butter Bronzer. I have mine in the shade Bronzer. This is like the darkest shade. They have one called Light Bronzer, but oh my god. It doesn't even look like I've hardly used it, you know what I mean? And I've used it like every single day. So as you can see, compared to the other bronzer, the Bronze Booster, it's more of a almost yellowy toned neutral bronzer, as you guys can see. I like this one so much better. It smells so good. I just smelled it, by the way. They normally come with like a little brush, but I like ditch those. Mine broke like the clasp. I know a lot of people said they were doing that, but whatever. I do love this. It goes on so smoothly. It works on most skin tones unless you are very dark, and it's a great product. I do not regret buying this in the slightest, even though it is a little bit more expensive. Just buy it. Just do it and you will love it. This is the Balm Desert Bronzer slash Blush from the Balm. And this one I just mentioned in a dupe video actually. And it is a really interesting color because it is a blush slash bronzer, because it's more of a red tone bronzer, but I actually like red tone bronzers. I think they look very pretty and very natural, as opposed to an orange tone bronzer, which I think just looks too orange, at least on me. Me personally, I prefer a redder tone bronzer to an orangey bronzer. And I love this. I use this religiously like last year in the winter a lot because I just really liked using it to like put on as like a blush and a bronzer, and then I would go. And I don't use it as much now, but I do think it's a gorgeous sort of shade. Do I think you need this? No, because I am going to show you a dupe. It's in my dupes video, but I'll show you again here. Do I think you need this? No. Do I think that if you are a makeup enthusiast that you might want to try this out? Yes. This is the Hikari Radiate Shimmer Bronzer. So this guy has two shimmery shades right there, and then like a blush, and then like a bronzer. Like that. Which apparently the blush doesn't want to have any color to it right now. But this is what it looks like. I don't really see any difference between the two shimmery shades. They're pretty much the same. And then the blush, and then the bronzer. So this I got in my Ipsy, I think it was, and I like it. It's pretty. When you swirl them all together, you get this really pretty, like, orangey bronze sort of color, which I do like in the summer. In the summer, putting this very lightly, very, very lightly over your bronzer does give you a very nice J-Lo look, but I never reach for this, so I don't think this is worth it if you guys have seen this at all. I think there's a lot better shimmery bronzers out there. This one is a little it's too much. This is the City Color Desert Treasures bronzer in the shade Oasis. If you guys remember me mentioning this in my products I regret buying, I didn't get rid of it only because I don't want to give up hope on it, and it is a gorgeous like eyeshadow color, but look how pigmented that is. Like, I barely swirled my finger in that, and it's so pigmented. It's just too pigmented and too blotchy to put on the face. It's gorgeous. It's stunning, but not for a bronzer, if you know what I mean. This is the Bahama Mama little sample from the Balm. I just recently got this, and I actually am so excited to use it because it is so neutral, and it's actually a little bit dark. I kind of like that because it's so neutral. Like, look how neutral that is. That does not have a whole lot of orange in it at all, which is why I'm so excited to use this. I cannot wait. This is an e.l.f. pressed powder, and this is in the shade, like, almond or dark or something like that. This is one of their just regular pressed powders. This was the first bronzer sort of thing that I ever really bought. And I love the formula of this powder. It's a gorgeous powder formula, but for a bronzer, this on me looks very orange. So, as you can see, I used it a lot. Little, like, 13-year-old me, this was my bronzer. I do not necessarily recommend it, though. It's a little too orangey, reddish on the skin. I don't recommend it. This is the NYC Smooth Skin bronzer in the shade Sunny. So this was a huge disappointment for me, like huge disappointment. It's just very patchy. I think it's just too orange for me. I don't love it. Everybody raves about this. Everybody raves about this. And I feel like it's very matte. I think that may be why, because I like bronzers that have a little bit of a sort of sheen to it. Not necessarily shimmer, but just a little bit of a satin quality. This one just feels very matte to me. I don't know. I don't love it. I don't reach for it. It's really disappointing, but I keep it just in case. This is a bronzer and highlighter duo from Monica Dar, and the bronzer in here is very pretty. It's very shimmery, and so is the highlighter. These are actually very pretty. I just never reach for it because it's kind of hard to get your brush in there because it's so little. I think this is a sample size, but as you can see, like, that's a very pigmented bronzer, although it's very similar to the City Color one, and those both don't work so well. So I never really reach for this, but the highlighter is pretty. Maybe I should reach for this more often. Just try it out. This is an e.l.f. Baked Bronzer in the shade St. Lucia. As you can see, it came broken like this. This was not me breaking it, because I know I break so much stuff. But no, this was not me. It's a very fair, yellowy, sort of orangey toned bronzer. I never really reach for it, one, because I am a little too dark for it normally. I have to be very fair to use this, and two, it's just not my favorite formula. This is the L'Oreal True Match powder in the shade Kohl Cocoa, CH. So I heard everyone saying Carly Bible loves this when I was like, I don't know, I think I was like 14 when I bought this. How do you open this again? So I bought this thinking like, oh my god, this is going to be a life-changing bronzer. And I used it for a good while. As you can see it right there. It is a pretty color. I'm just a little light for it. I realized that afterwards. I'm a little light for this. I'm a little too white girl for this. It's very pretty. It's a gorgeous powder formula. I think the L'Oreal True Match is a great powder formula. And this is a great bronzer. I just either have to be very tan to use this, or I can't use it that much. I have 3 Colourpop bronzer blush things. This one is in the shade Aphrodisiac. This is the one I said was a dupe for the Balm Desert, and I still stand by that. I think it's a gorgeous bronzer slash blush. I use it as a bronzer. People can use it as a blush. It is like a nice red tone. The Colourpop bronzers have the same consistency as the blush and the highlighters and the eyeshadows. This is the shade Bon Voyage, which is much lighter. As you guys can see, it's almost like a yellowy tone, like the baked one from e.l.f. was. And I use this when I am very fair. I don't use it so often because it is more of like a cream formula, so it's a little difficult to actually use. But I do think it's pretty. And then this one right here is in the shade Swift. So this is kind of like a blush, I think, technically, but it's so dark. I bought this because it was a reference to like Taylor Swift. I love Taylor Swift. So as you can see, it is a very orangey, very red color. I want to experiment this more with like using it as a blush, because as a bronzer, I don't think that's going to work. But as a blush, I think it might be pretty, especially when I'm a little bit more tan. I don't know. I want to experiment with this more. I kind of forgot I had it for a while, so I didn't use it. But as you can see, it's like a very like brick red color. Kind of interesting. Then these last 3 things are e.l.f. contouring blush and bronzers. So this one is in the shade Fiji Matte. As you can see, I only have the blush left, but I keep it in here because I don't have room in my blush drawer. So this originally had a bronzer in it, but the bronzer kind of broke, so now I just have the blush left. It's a little too dark for me for a blush, as I've said in my blush videos. I like more of a nude apricot-y sort of color. This is very pink for me, so I don't use it that much. I might actually give this away, I'm not sure. But this is the one in St. Lucia. I think this one is gorgeous. I used this bronzer for the absolute longest time before I found the butter bronzer, because look at how pretty that is. It has a slight sheen to it, and it's a very nice neutral color. So I need to reach for this more often. I just always end up reaching for the butter bronzer. And then the blush in here is okay. It's a little too sparkly for my taste. I'll just swatch it anyway. It's a little too sparkly and chunky for me, but I still do use it. This is the contouring cream, and this is in St. Lucia, but it looks more like the Fiji matte one. The creams in here are okay. I've used them before, and as you can see, like, they're very smooth. They're just very pigmented. I don't love the blush as much. The bronzer is not bad. When you just blend it out, though, it ends up starting to look a little orange. So I do prefer this as a bronzer, not a cream contour. It's not bad. Like I said, it's not horrible. I did use it for a while. I don't know. I think e.l.f. still sells this. It's not horrible. So that's it for this video, you guys. I hope you guys like it. Please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you thought down below, as I say in the end of all of these. If there's a certain drawer that you guys really want to see, I might skip ahead out of order, because I am going in order from top to bottom, left to right. So if there is a certain drawer that you guys really want to see, I might consider skipping ahead, but you just gotta let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.